Well, I'm going to go with the flow today. So I do these tap-ins every Monday morning. I have my Instagram. I have my whole setup here. I got lights, camera, action. I got my plan for what it is. And then I get up this morning. Within 20 minutes, my whole power went off. All the power. So, and I'm on an acreage, so I don't have any running water. Everything is shut down. Absolutely everything. So, sometimes it goes off, 10 minutes later it comes on. Anyway, it's 5 to 7. It's between there. I'm texting, a few people saying, "Hey, I have no power. Can you just go on?" And because I do it Zoom and just let everybody know that for my members that come live that I can't get on, right? Tried doing Instagram, but I don't have enough, data. It's not going to work anyway. So the point is, I'm like, okay, I'm not supposed to do this today. And then 2 minutes to spare, on comes my internet. So yeah, so here I am. I'm like, do I stick to original plan? And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to just talk a little bit about how this all unfolds. So the original plan was about self-care, right? Some of my real hard truths that I've come to understand about myself, and I might still go there. But really, what this comes down to is the old me, shall we say, the old me met with this kind of a morning would have been completely thrown off. And instead, now, and this is how taking care of myself and really giving myself um, a lot of love has allowed me to go with the flow. I never used to be able to go with the flow. I was a perfectionist, I was a people pleaser, and having no internet, having no power, and not knowing if I'm going to be able to get on this morning, for my members, for my people, I would have been in a tizzy. And of course, stuff came up. I just went out in nature and I just, communed with the birds and the silence and appreciated, all the beauty around me. And I just went, you know what? It is what it is. It's acceptance. And if I'm meant to go on, I'm meant to go on. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. And there was just this calm that came over that that I'm so incredibly grateful for, because this would not have happened, say, even 5 years ago. So now I am going to go into um, what my original plan was and some of my really hard truths, like uncomfortable truths that led to really honest self-care for me. Because I've always taken care of myself. I've always, always on Weight Watchers. There it was, always worrying about my weight. I think it was 1990 that I got my lifetime membership of Weight Watchers. Okay, so I was 22 years old, I believe. And it was October 31st, so it was Halloween. I got my lifetime membership at Weight Watchers, only to come home and absolutely binge on every bit of candy that I had in my house, right? But then I was also exercising. I was going to the gym. I wasn't doing it as a career at that point, but I had this perfect balance, of binge eating and binge exercising. So it really appeared like I was taking care of myself on the outside, but I was a mess. I was a mess, right? Like I said, I was a perfectionist, I was a people pleaser, and I tried to control absolutely everything to make sure that it appeared that I was, I had it all together. And so, then I had kids, then I got married, then I had kids, and I just continued this whole balancing act of, looking like life was perfect. And I was so not taking care of myself. I was beating myself up because, of course, my digestive system was a mess. And then I was over exercising. So my whole body was a mess. Thank goodness I was young enough at that time to handle it. Um, so yeah, it seemed like I was taking care of myself, but I was not. And over the years, I had to really face a lot of my own, what we call in the spiritual world, shadow self, right? My own addictions. I was addicted to people pleasing. I was addicted to food. I was addicted to, uh, I mean, not letting anybody really see who I was. And so when it came to really taking care of myself, it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. I had to put myself first. And, I'd spent a lifetime of pleasing other people. I had to stop judging myself. I had to learn to love myself. And if I'm judging myself, I wasn't loving myself. So over the years, I basically what it came down to is I had to take responsibility for myself and for my life. And one of the things that was a big eye opener for me was I would go and go and go until I would break down. My body would break down. I would get sick, right? I would get debilitating migraines. I would get stomach issues. My back would go out on me where I couldn't move. And this is how my body was then speaking to me. And as a people pleaser and as a perfectionist, that's the only time I really rested. Honestly, when my body broke down, when I had a migraine and I had to close myself in a room, I had 3 kids. They remember that. They remember me getting migraines where it was like I had to shut myself out in a room. My husband had to take over the kids, or if he was out of town, then my family would have to come, or my kids just eventually learned to deal with, okay, mom has a migraine, and everything just shut down. But that was the only time I gave myself permission to actually rest, to actually heal. And it was the only time I felt I was worthy of taking time to heal. That is so far off of the self-care realm. So this is where then I started yoga. This is where I started meditation. This is where I started taking responsibility for my own health, for my own wellness. And so now I can say I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Okay. And I'm a recovering oh, I'm a recovering food addict, right? Like there's so we all have something. And what I am now is I'm a radical acceptance of myself and all of those parts of myself that led me to, my body breaking down, my health being at risk. And I really needed to realize at that point when I took responsibility for my life that I'm worthy of taking care of me. Like I need to put myself first, and I'm worthy of that. And of course, that was uncomfortable because I had taught everybody in my life how to treat me at that point. And being a perfectionist and a people pleaser, I had taught people that that's what they expect from me. And so when you start taking care of yourself in that kind of a circumstance, the other people around you, they don't like that because you've always taken care of them first. So it really comes down to coming home to myself and coming into my heart and learning how to be with myself and love myself, and not just love all the stuff that's good to love, but to love the one that, was addicted to food, and to love the one that was the perfectionist, and to love the one that was the people pleaser, and to bring all of that into to taking care of myself. And so in this whole process, this has been, I mean, 15 years in the making, but in the last 5 years when I did my Chopra training, one of the four key fundamentals is what we call the 4 A's. And this is about bringing this to myself. Okay. When I feel like I'm getting lost, when I feel like I'm getting sick, when I know that I'm not taking care of myself, it comes down to these 4 A's, giving myself attention. I have to bring the attention onto me and off of the outer world. What do I need? And then the second A is acceptance. What am I doing to myself? Right? I have to accept maybe my little food addiction personality is coming up. And maybe my overdoing everything. Am I trying to people please? All of these old addictions are coming up for me, and I need to accept them and love them and nurture them. I have to appreciate them because they're giving me a message. My body might be breaking down on me, my body might be aching. So I need to appreciate that I get these messages from my body and and appreciate how I've grown over the years and what needs attention, and then I give it affection. Right, this is where it's like, okay, this is where the self-care comes in. I stop judging myself, I stop blaming myself, I stop shaming myself, and I come back home to me. And this is this whole shift of understanding my addictions and coming into self-love. It comes down to learning. I had to learn to love myself. I had to learn to honor myself. I had to learn to accept myself and learn to appreciate myself. And in that, okay, in that, I learned um, health, wellness. I learned physical wellness on a whole different level. Emotional wellness. I learned to feel my emotions. I learned to face my fears and my insecurities. And this is an ongoing thing. I'm never going to be done this. This is just in that ability to love and accept myself. I have been able to face everything that comes up so far. So again, this morning when I had no power and I didn't think I was going to be able to be here, I drew in on this. Okay, well, I got to accept it. I got to appreciate that, this is just go with the flow. That's basically what it is. And so as I, went outside and I grounded and just did my stuff this morning, going, well, we'll see. There was a sense of calm that would have normally been a huge sense of anxiety. And I attribute that to these 4 A's and to loving myself and to the practice of loving myself. Because the perfectionist in me, the people pleaser in me would have just absolutely been in a tizzy. So this stuff works. And if you're going, I don't know how to get to that place. I don't know how to get to that place. You know what? This summer for my personal development group, we're doing self-care. This is what we're doing. Learn how to set boundaries for yourself. Learn how to love yourself. Learn how to give yourself attention and acceptance and appreciation and affection. Learn how to love yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna tap this in. And I'm going to take it just to the 4 thumps that we do, okay? Just for a time-wise thing, because this is something that can help us to ground ourselves. So I want you to feel your feet into the ground and just take a few deep breaths, because the only way that we can truly take care of ourselves is to come in and ground our energy. Rub your hands together and tap in underneath your eyes. This grounds your energy. For me, this is just come home to me. And so the first day is attention. Like, I'm going to give myself attention. I'm grounding my energy. I'm giving myself attention. Good. Okay. And then tap into the collarbone point. I like to cross my arms. And this gets all of the energy moving in the right direction. But for me with the A's, this is acceptance. Accept this moment. So whatever's going on in my mind, what's ever going on in my body, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, I get to accept it. I get to accept it. Like, who's showing up for me? Like I say, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Is that perfectionist in me showing up again? Is that the one that needs some acceptance here or some attention? Just let's get everything moving in the right direction. We got to learn to accept ourselves fully and completely, all parts of ourselves, whatever's and whoever in us is showing up. Okay. And then we tap into the thymus, and this is, of course, the heart space. This is appreciation. Okay, so when I ground myself, bring some attention inward, whether it's to my emotions or to my physical body or to my mindset. And when I, bring acceptance to what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing or what's going on outside of me that I have no control over, I bring in appreciation. Okay, I'm going to appreciate that I get to learn something from this. I get to appreciate, maybe I'm going to appreciate my body for giving me messages or my mind for, being able to come into a place of calm when it normally would have went into anxiety. Or maybe I'm going to appreciate the anxiety. I used to have anxiety through the roof, and now I can, it was a messenger for me. And then the fourth thump here is right where we metabolize it on all in the spleen point. And this is where I give myself affection, whatever that looks like. And this is where we go into all the ways that we can give ourselves affection. How do we take care of ourselves? What do I now need to do for me so I can get through this, whatever's happening in this moment, or what's ever happening with anxiety, or emotionally what's happening, or physically what's happening? And I can't do any of it unless I ground myself first, right? And bring attention to what's going on and accept what's going on and appreciate what's going on. And then I can do something about it. I can give myself the affection that's needed in whatever way. Self-care can show up in so many ways. Like I said, I did it for way too long where it appeared that I was taking care of myself and I wasn't. Right? It's uncomfortable sometimes to go inward and face our own addictions and our own fears and our own insecurities. But it's truly the only way that we get into that space of taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves and honoring ourselves. And in that, we show up as a much better person in the world to the other people in our lives. Okay, so that's what this week is all about. Be willing to put yourself first, right? Incorporate these 4 A's with these 4 thumps into your life. And if you are ready for a journey or they're on that journey of self-care and you want just a little bit more support in it, or you have no idea where to start, you contact me. Okay, contact me through Instagram, contact me through email, wellnessdefined.ca, through my website, and join in with a group of us that that are really putting ourselves first, willing to put ourselves first, willing to do some uncomfortable work to really to face our fears and insecurities and our addictions and come back home to ourselves. Okay, so have yourself a fabulous day, a fabulous week. Namaste.